The North American B-45 Tornado was the United States Air Force's, U.S. Air Force, first operational jet bomber, and the first multi-jet-engined bomber in the world to be refueled in midair. The B-45 was an important part of the United States' nuclear deterrent for several years in the early 1950s, but was soon superseded by the Boeing B-47 Stratojet. B-45s and RB-45s served in the United States Air Force's Strategic Air Command from 1950 until 1959. Development. The B-45 began development in 1944, when the U.S. War Department, alarmed by German jet bombers like the Arado AR-234, called for a new family of jet bombers grossing between 80,000 pounds, 36,287 kilograms, and 200,000 pounds, 90,718 kilograms. The proposal from North American Aviation, NA-130, won, and on September 8, 1944, the company began production of 3 prototypes based on the NA-130. The end of World War II resulted in the cancellation of many projects and delayed many others. In 1946, rising tensions with the Soviet Union caused the U.S. Army Air Forces, USAF, to assign higher priorities to jet bomber development and production. By mid-1946, the XB-45 and Convair XB-46 neared completion, but the Boeing XB-47 and Martin XB-48 were still 2 years away. The USAF chose to evaluate the first 2 designs to determine which would be superior operationally. The B-45 proved a superior design, and on January 2, 1947, a contract for immediate production of B-45s was signed. It had been planned to equip 5 light bomb groups and 3 light reconnaissance groups with B-45s, but as the B-47's development and flight testing made future production all but certain, the future of the B-45 became increasingly uncertain, and in mid-1948 the U.S. Air Staff began to question its value. Soon afterwards, President Truman's budget restraints reduced Air Force expenditure and B-45 production was reduced to a total of 142 airframes. Further budget cuts in 1950 forced the Aircraft and Weapons Board to cancel 51 of the 190 aircraft on order. The cancellation of the 51 was announced January 7, 1949. The B-45 was later replaced by the supersonic Convair B-58 Hustler. Operational history. Korean War. Continuously plagued by engine problems along with numerous other minor flaws, the B-45 regained importance when after the United States entered the Korean War in 1950, it proved its value both as a bomber and as a reconnaissance aircraft. The mass dedication of U.S. forces to the Korean War revealed the vulnerability of North Atlantic Treaty Organization forces in Europe to Soviet attack, and it was in this light that the Air Force made an important decision about the future of the B-45. The B-45, like most post-World War II American bombers, could carry both nuclear and conventional bombs. The progress of weapons technology had led to a great reduction in the weight and size of nuclear weapons in the U.S. inventory, effectively allowing smaller aircraft such as the B-45 to carry out nuclear strikes, a mission which had initially been confined to heavy bombers. Suddenly, the small fleet of B-45s had great value again as a nuclear deterrent. Operation Fandango, sometimes called Operation Backbreaker, entailed modifications to the aircraft for nuclear missions. In addition, the 40 B-45s allocated to the program were equipped with a new defensive system and additional fuel tankage. Despite the magnitude of the modifications project, plus ongoing problems with the early jet engines, nuclear-capable B-45s began reaching the United Kingdom in May 1952, and deployment of the 40 aircraft was completed in mid-June. It was at about this same time that RB-45s of the 323rd Strategic Reconnaissance Squadron began to arrive in Japan to fly alongside the 91st Strategic Reconnaissance Squadron, supplementing the World War II-era piston-engine RB-29s which had proved to be easy targets for North Korean MiGs. The RB-45s provided valuable intelligence throughout the remainder of the Korean War, despite the limited number of airframes available. RB-45CS flew many daylight missions until early 1952, when they were switched to night operations after an RB-45 was almost lost to a MiG-15. Post-war, all 33 RB-45CS built were assigned to the 91st Strategic Reconnaissance Wing's 322nd, 323rd, and 324th Strategic Reconnaissance Squadrons. The RB-45C also flew several long-range reconnaissance missions over the Soviet Union during the mid-1950s. On July 29, 1952, an RB-45C made the first non-stop trans-Pacific flight, having been refueled twice by KB-29s along the way. Major Lou Carrington and his crew of the 91st Reconnaissance Wing flew from Alaska to Japan in 9 HRS 50 minutes, winning the Mackay Trophy for their achievement. Within the 91st SRW, by 1954 the RB-45C had been replaced by the RB-47E. The phased-out RB-45CS then went to the 19th Tactical Reconnaissance Squadron, which operated them until they were withdrawn from operational use in the spring of 1958. By the end of the 1950s, all B-45s had been removed from active service. However, a few continued to act as test aircraft into the early 1970s. Operation Jiu-Jitsu. The only other nation to use the RB-45C was the United Kingdom, where it was operated by an ad hoc unit of crews largely drawn from NOS 35 and 115 squadrons. Whilst the U.S. Air Force was prohibited by the President of the United States from overflying the Soviet Union unless under a state of war, U.S. allies closer to the European theater of war could. In the United Kingdom, whilst successive Labour governments had refused, the return of Winston Churchill and a Conservative administration to Downing Street brought a more cooperative atmosphere to joint intelligence initiatives. As a result, under Operation Jiu-Jitsu, in July 1951 4 aircraft were leased to Britain from the 91st Strategic Reconnaissance Wing to form a Royal Air Force, RAF, Special Duties Flight commanded by Squadron Leader John Crampton. Stripped of all U.S. Air Force markings and then applied with RAF markings, the 4 aircraft were attached to a U.S. Air Force squadron based in RAF Sculthorpe, Norfolk in eastern England. The aircraft were tasked with flying deep-level reconnaissance missions over the Soviet Union to gather electronic and photographic intelligence. The Special Duties Flight conducted missions during the period 1952-54. On April 17, 1952, 3 aircraft were assigned to head for Kiev from Germany, scheduled to return to Sculthorpe 10 hours later. Flying at 36,000 feet, 11,000 m, Crampton's aircraft was tracked by ground radar and came under anti-aircraft fire. Applying full power, he immediately turned and headed for Germany, none too soon, as Soviet night fighters had been dispatched to hunt down his aircraft. Subsequent flights over the Soviet Union were carried out using English electric Canberras under the code name Project Robin, operating at higher altitudes of around 54,000 feet, 16,000 m. It was not until 1994, under the 50-year rule of the Public Records Act 1958, that the existence of the spy missions became public knowledge. Variants. XB-45. The first flight of the XB-45 was on February 24, 1947 from Muroc Army Airfield. A total of 131 test flights were flown by the 3 prototype aircraft, one being destroyed early on, killing 2 pilots. The U.S. Air Force accepted one of the 2 surviving aircraft on July 30, 1948, the other on August 31. One was damaged beyond repair in an accident. The last XB-45 was delivered to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in 1949. It proved excessively difficult to maintain and was relegated as a ground trainer. 3 aircraft, 45 to 59,479, 45 to 59,481. B-45A. The B-45A differed from the XB-45 in having improved ejection seats and communications equipment, an E-4 automatic pilot and bombing navigation radar. The first production B-45 flew in February 1948, and the Air Force took delivery of 22 B-45s in April 1948. Powered by J-35 turbojets and not considered combat-ready, they were assigned to training duties and to conduct various test programs. The next batch were powered by the more powerful J-47 turbojets. The first B-45s entered service in November 1948 with the 47th Bombardment Group, and the initial order of 96 was completed in March 1950. The first B-45s were not equipped with bomb fire control systems or bomb sights. They suffered from gyro compass failures at high speeds, unhooked bomb shackles, engine fires, and inaccurate cockpit gauges. The AN/APQ-24 bombing and navigation radar on some B-45s was maintenance-heavy, and malfunctions in the pressurization pump limited the altitude at which the aircraft could operate. 55 nuclear-capable B-45s arrived in the United Kingdom in 1952. These were modified with a 1,200 gal, 4,542 liters, fuel tank in the aft bomb bay. Despite technical problems, these were Tactical Air Command's first-line deterrent in Europe. 96 aircraft, 47-001, 47-097. B-45A 147-001, 47-022, 21 aircraft. B-45A 547-023, 47-096, 73 aircraft. B-45A 47-097, static test airframe. B-45B. The B-45B was a proposed variant of the B-45A with improved radar and fire control systems. None were built. B-45C. The B-45C was the first multijet-engined bomber in the world to be refueled in midair. It carried two 1,200 gal, 4,542 liters, wingtip fuel tanks, had a strengthened canopy, and an in-flight refueling receptacle. The first B-45C was flown on May 3, 1949. Only 10 were built, and the remaining 33 under construction were converted to RB-45CS. 10 aircraft, 48-001, 48-010. RB-45C. The RB-45C was the final production variant of the B-45. The bombardier's canopy was faired over and replaced with an oblique camera system. The RB-45C carried two 214 gal, 810 liters, external fuel tanks, or two JATO rockets. It could carry up to 12 cameras in 4 positions, or a single camera with a 100 in, 2.5 m, focal length lens. The RB-45C first flew in April 1950, and was delivered from June 1950 to October 1951. 38 were built, including the 33 converted from B-45CS. It was this variant that was operated, clandestinely, over the Soviet Union by the RAF Special Duties Unit at RAF Skuldhorp, with the first sortie of 3 aircraft commanded by Squadron Leader John Crampton taking place on the night of April 17, 1952. 33 aircraft, 48-011, 48-043. Operators. United Kingdom. Royal Air Force. Number 35 Squadron RAF crews grouped into ad hoc units operated RB-45C variant. Number 115 Squadron RAF crews grouped into ad hoc units operated RB-45C variant. USA. Tactical Air Command. 47th Bombardment Group, later Wing, B-45A, 1949–1957. Langley AFB, Virginia 1949–1952. RAF Skuldhorp, England, 1952–1957. 84th Bombardment Squadron. 85th Bombardment Squadron. 86th Bombardment Squadron, 1949, 1954–1957. 422d Bombardment Squadron, 1953–1954. 86th Bomb Squadron operated from RAF Alconbury, England, 1955–1959. 19th Tactical Reconnaissance Squadron, RB-45C 1953–1957. 9th Air Force, attached to 363d Tactical Reconnaissance Wing. Shaw AFB, South Carolina, 1953–1954. 3rd Air Force, attached to 47th Bombardment Wing. RAF Sculthorpe, England, 1954–1957. Strategic Air Command. 91st Strategic Reconnaissance Group, later Wing, B/RB-45C, 1950–1953. Barksdale AFB, Louisiana, 1950–1951. Lockbourne AFB, Ohio, 1951–1953. 322d Strategic Reconnaissance Squadron. 323d Strategic Reconnaissance Squadron. 324th Strategic Reconnaissance Squadron. Note, operated frequently from RAF Sculthorpe, England, Yokota AB and Johnson AB, Japan, 1950–1952. 91st Strategic Reconnaissance Squadron, RB-45C, 1952–1954. 15th Air Force, attached to Far East Air Forces. Yokota AB, Japan, combat in Korean War. Aircraft on display. 3 B-45s have survived to the present day. B-45A. AFSER No. 47-0008 Castle Air Museum at the former Castle AFB in Atwater, California. B-45C. AFSER No. 48-0010 in the Cold War hangar of the National Museum of the United States Air Force at Wright-Patterson AFB near Dayton, Ohio. The aircraft was used by Pratt & Whitney for engine testing, and was flown to the museum in 1971. RB-45C. AFSER No. 48-0017 Strategic Air and Space Museum in Ashland, Nebraska. Specifications, B-45A. General characteristics. Crew, 4, pilot, co-pilot, bombardier navigator, and tail gunner. Length, 75 feet 4 in, 22.96 m. Wingspan, 89 feet 0 in, 27.14 m. Height, 25 feet 2 in, 7.67 m. Wing area, 1,175 feet superscript 2, 109.2 square meters. Empty weight, 45,694 pounds, 20,726 kilograms. Loaded weight, 81,418 pounds, 36,930 kilograms. Max takeoff weight, 91,775 pounds, 41,628 kilograms. Power plant, 4 times General Electric J47 GE13 turbojets, 5,200 lbf, 25 knots, each. Performance. Maximum speed, 566 miles per hour, 492 knots, 911 kilometers per hour. Cruise speed, 365 miles per hour, 587 kilometers per hour. Range, 1,192 miles, 1,036 nmi, 1,919 kilometers. Ferry range, 2,170 miles, 1,886 nmi, 3,493 kilometers. Service ceiling, 46,000 feet, 14,020 m. Rate of climb, 5,200 feet/min, 1,585 m/min. Wing loading, 69.3 lb/foot superscript 2, 338.4 kg/m superscript 2. Thrust/weight, 0.26. Armament. Guns, 2 times .50 in, 12.7 mm, M3 machine guns, tail turret. Bombs, up to 22,000 pounds, 10,000 kilograms. Popular culture. The War of the Worlds and The Magnetic Monster, both 1953 films, show stock footage of the B-45. AB-45 can be seen in Strategic Air Command, 1955 Jimmy Stewart movie. AB-45 also featured prominently in the Buck Danny album Planes Without Pilots by Jean-Michel Charlier and Victor Hubinon. Role: Strategic Bomber. Manufacturer: North American Aviation. First flight February 24, 1947. Introduction April 22, 1948. Retired 1959. Primary users: United States Air Force. Royal Air Force. Produced 143. Unit cost: $1.1 million US.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.